Hello, welcome back to Petrol Blog's Rubbish YouTube channel. This is like one of those barn reveal videos where you pretend that you've no idea what's in this barn, even though there's a film crew, lots of lights and everything already behind the camera. We were watching something last night with my son, here of Range Rover and French tap fame. And I haven't even told him anyone about his French tat yet. That'll come in another video. My son is as camera shy as I am, hence why he stood next to me and not here. Although you will see his hand in a minute doing the big reveal. But my point is, we were watching a video last night. I can't remember, was it Hammond's Workshop? And is that what it's called? He's not even going to talk. That's how bad he is. At least I get to talk. Anyway, the smallest cog. He's sniffing. You can hear him sniffing. There you go. That's his contribution to this video. P38 Overlander's contribution to this video. Anyway, we're watching The Smallest Cog with Richard Hammond, and I think there was this scene where he turned up on the first day of his workshop opening and sort of struggled with the lock a minute and said, "Oh, this is the big day. No one's ever walked through these doors before." And there was someone inside it already. The joys of television. So we're going to open this and pretend we've got no idea what's behind it, even though up there you can see the title of this video. So there is no mystique anymore. Anyway, this is my son's fault. We spent the morning, I spent most of the morning actually sorting out the Proton sale, which has gone through. We are no longer with Proton. So you are the first to know this, unless you are a follower of me on Instagram or Twitter. But my son said, "Look, Dad, it's about time we did something with the AX GT." My son is 17, he turns 18 in November, and I remember telling him, or saying to him, probably about 10 years ago, "Son, when you're 18, this car will be yours, and it'll be finished, and you can spend your 18th birthday driving around in this car." And I'm such a bad dad because it's sat there for I think I haven't looked this up, but I think it's been here since 2012. And part of the reason why I haven't mentioned this in the video before is because I'm embarrassed, because it's been sat there for so long. Because ultimately, this was the first car that joined the fleet. It wasn't even a fleet back then. My wife had an S6 Avant, one of the original ones, 1996 S6 Avant, and my AX GT, big giveaway there, what's behind the door? Oh, it's an AX GT, was my only car. And I remember picking it up, and 10, 11, 12 years ago, AX GTs were worthless. No one wanted them, and I paid 700 quid for this car, which at the time was probably too much. But my son quite rightly said, "Look, Dad, it's about time we got this car sorted out. It's about time you did the big reveal." So in a minute, you can thank my son's hand as it opens up the gates of hell. And we'll do the big reveal, because I don't think anyone's seen the AX GT in its current state. And it's embarrassing. And you have to sit down, you have to pour yourself something stiff. That doesn't really work, but you know what I mean. And just prepare yourself for this, because it's not pretty. In fact, you may not even recognise it as an AX GT. So what we're going to do, we're going to take you through the AX GT, me and my son, who will remain silent. It's not like I'm interrogating him as a copper. He shall remain silent throughout this process. I'd like you to talk at some point. Maybe you could shine a torch. Maybe you could do something. He is my Isla St. Clair, which will mean nothing to anybody under the age of 40. But anyway, we're going to go through the doors now. We're going to do the big reveal. We're going to go through the keyhole, and we're going to kickstart the AX GT project, which he's not in, but it's the most optimistic thing I've ever suggested on this channel. So let's go through the keyhole and let's do the big reveal. Wonder what's behind these doors. Look at this barn find. Look, I could go, nope. Anyway, should we open that door as well? Ooh. There it is. Oh, that door nearly. What has happened to that door? Why is it not opening? Something's happened to this door. See, this doesn't happen on proper YouTube channels. There's a stone. There's a stone. There's a rolling stone. There we go. Mick Jag will be very happy now that we've opened these doors. Should we prop these up so they don't fly back on ourselves? I've done the big reveal now. This is how bad our channel is, because we've done the big reveal and then we've just focusing on the doors. There it is. And it's not pretty. As you can see, it is minus its bonnet. It is minus its bumper. It is minus its lights. It is minus many things. I will point out that we actually took the bonnet off. We took the front off. Some of the bits of metal that are no longer in the car are due to age, not because we took them off. But you know, this wasn't a mint example when we bought it. Again, it was 700 quid. We're going to need some torch. We're going to need some torch down that side of the car, aren't we? There we go. So you can see, I mean, as my son pointed out earlier, it's definitely had a little bash at some point in its life. It's had many bits of welding. As you can see, it's had plates put in. You're very good at this torch. You're mute, but you're very good at torches. It's had welding in the past, and we could go through, at one point, we will go through all the points where it's been welded. Slightly worried that there's moisture here. The roof isn't in the best condition in the barn. And talking of things not in the best condition, can someone send help? Because we cannot get the starter motor off this Mercedes. We've done everything we meant to do, disconnected everything. You are sniffing like a trooper, man. We've disconnected everything we meant to do, taken out the bracket, and everything says you've got to twist it, pull it out. Unfortunately for us, this is digressing at the highest order. We're talking about a car we're not even supposed to be talking about. But if anyone wants to send any help, food parcels, donations, whatever it takes, let us know how we can get this bleep starter motor out of my 123, because I really want to drive this, because in 2 weeks it's tax exempt. That was a big sniff. Honestly. He actually went outside the door to sniff. Anyway, let's go back to the main event. The main event is the AX GT. I could press my button here, we could zoom out. Didn't work. There, oh, it zoomed in. Yeah, you can see why I don't get paid the big bucks. Anyway, as you can see, there's been cat prints on the door, on the window. No hoof prints. That's a positive. One of the reasons why we stopped 2, 3, 4 years ago, couldn't get this off because we had the wrong tools. The reason why, let's backtrack a little bit. The reason why it's like this is that we wanted to strip this back in a position where we get it back to its shell. Without the engine will still be in it. That's not a problem. And as you can see, the engine needs a lot of work. The engine is one of the reasons why it was laid up, but I'll come back to that in a minute. The plan was to strip it out, basically take everything, all the pieces of trim off, remove everything from the interior, and then send it to a body shop and get them to sandblast it or shot blast it and send it back to us as a shell, and we can find out how bad it is. And it's bad. And we will come down the side of this, comes down the side of this car here. And you can see from the rear wing, for example, look at this. This is synchronized. You can see from the rear wing. Yeah, I mean, there's a hole there, and the whole arch has departed the car. But you know, that everything's repairable. It's not in a good way. I mean, in theory, in reality, probably should have been scrapped years ago. But of course, not anymore. It's an AX GT, and these are, I think, one of the coolest hot hatches you can buy, or money can buy. And what's nice about it, he says, kicking one of the wings. There are wings here. Wings. What's nice about it is totally original. Okay, it's been welded, there's been some bodywork, but the car itself is totally original, authentic. Original Citroën sticker here. The original dealer sticker from Bristol there. Oh, look. Yeah, we are going to have to fix this roof at some point. There's an AX, I think it's an AX wheel trim over there. It's when you come into the back of the barn, you realise how bad it is. And of course, this car sat right underneath these strips. Anyway, original, although it was the original dealer number plate, but actually the original dealer details seem to have faded away, which is quite sad, because they used to be on the bottom of that. That's odd. Definitely on the front one, which is it on the roof? We'll go back to that in a minute, but on there is the original dealer number plate. One of my sons, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think one of his favourite features of this car is the rear roof spoiler. He loves that. Both of them. He spoke! He spoke! Both rear spoilers. Obviously that's standard AX. That's GT. So you can see we've taken out the rear lights. It's all the original stripe. But look, if you look on the windows, it's all got the original number plates on, I think, on all the glass. And one of the things I found quite interesting about this, and I haven't got them to hand, it's actually got the number plate was actually etched onto the sunroof, which has been removed, and it's in its original packet. You know, I don't know if you remember. Everyone will know this if you're an AX GT fan. I'm talking quite quickly, aren't I? Yeah, he's nodding his head. Let me slow down. I'm getting very excited because I am very, very affectionate. This car means a lot to me. He says, It's been sat here for 10 years in the back of the barn, which is a contradiction in terms. But anyway, I've got the original felt pocket that you meant to put the glass. That was the whole point in the old days on these, because my sister had an XR2, exactly the same thing. You're meant to remove the glass panel from the sunroof and just be open air. And of course they gave you a pouch to put the glass in. But that original glass has got its number plate edged on it. And I think, yeah, again, number plate, and not door mirrors, but the front lights have also got, obviously they're not on it now, but the front lights have even got their original number plates on them. I think they might be over there on that thing, but we'll come back to that because this is meant to be a big reveal video. So we're going to go inside now. We're going to go inside you love the door handles, don't you? There he goes. He loves the door handle because to anyone at the age of 40, that is the most retro thing ever, isn't it? So just to repeat, we're going to repeat this exercise for the benefit of viewers. This is how the door handles work on the AX. Fantastic. See, if Tesla did that in 2023, they'd be classed as aerodynamic geniuses. So before we jump in, please admire the dust. Ooh. Don't you just hate it when people in car parks do that to your car? And I've just done it to both my cars. Is that original? I don't think that's an original screw in there, is it? Again, doing the car buyer test, which no one ever does once they buy a car. Quite plasticky in places. Famously, massive door bins in the AX for a big bottle of water or your baguettes. Well, actually, I think your baguette would go in there, wouldn't it? That's your baguette holder. That's your bottle of Evian. There's your tyre. This is really cool. Imagine discovering this in someone's barn. Imagine if we sold our house and someone had discovered this. They'd be like so excited. They just wouldn't hide it.
Wouldn't be left it, would it?
No, there isn't, unless something horrible happened to me. Red stripe. I mean, this is again, one of the reasons, I'm going to be honest, because I think honesty is important. We were taking out the seats and going back a few years, we didn't have the tools we've got now. Obviously, since we started this fleet and this channel, we've invested in a lot of tools. We've now got the tools that we could do to remove the seats. We wanted this stripped out. We wanted the carpet out. We were going to do, as my son called it earlier, a nut and bolt restoration on this. Obviously outsourcing bits, but doing a lot of it ourselves, which is optimistic at best. I'm going to jump in. I'm not going to touch much because it is quite mouldy. And obviously the light gives it a kind of Blair Witch Project kind of effect. So you have to bear with us. That looks awful, that light in there. We need to invest in a better cameraman and lighting expert. But original Blaupunkt stereo, probably been smoked in. Yep. It's a French car, of course it's been smoked in. Ashtray. And for what I remember, everything worked. There's a choke. And actually, talking of which, that was related to that. That was one of the reasons why I laid it up originally. Driving home from work, because I did use it to go to work in back in the day. You'd put your foot down, and this was only a few miles from home, but you put your foot down, and it would just cut out. So it was like it was over-fueling or something to do with the carburettor, but every time you accelerated, it would stall. You'd have to restart the car and sort of go like glide home. You didn't glide home, that would be weird. You sort of coast home without applying too much throttle pressure. That's the only way I can get home. I remember laying it up, and then I bought the ZX16 valve, which is another video which we'll have to do, and it just got left. And I feel bad about that. Of course I feel bad about that, but I'm not the only one who's ever done that. Tiniest rev counter you'll ever see. My son is pointing something. What are you pointing to? Please tell me.
Pedals.
Pedals. Oh, yes. Yeah, pedals aren't great for your size 11s. I mean, the accelerator pedal is awfully close to the carpet. I remember, actually, I'm going to struggle with that. You're not going to wear your dealer boots with them. You can't drive in your dealer boots. That is so close to the... Nope. Tiny pedals, so we're going to have to wear spark over. You're sniffing, Dad. I'm going to have to put a warning at the front of this saying, no, there's no swearing. No, there's no religious bigotry or anything like that. No, there's no pornographic material. But there is a man sniffing every 5 seconds. But that's fine. Something has been eating the gear knob. I've never noticed that. Something's been noticing the gear knob. 5-speed box. It tells you there. If it's a 5-speed box. This video is awful, isn't it? Glove box. So yeah, the interior, I'm going to step out and look into the back. Oh, there's the keys. For what? Don't think that's the original keyring. In fact, I know it's not because I bought it. but the original keys are there. And then it is raining, obviously. We live in a temperate rainforest, of course it's raining. My son loves it every time I mention the temperate rainforest, because I've been boring him silly since Christmas. And there's the back. We were doing all right in the back. We were stripping out. Did I just shout? I'm really conscious. I'm quite close to the microphone. We were doing quite well on the back. But like I say, everything's here. Everything apart from the bodywork that's rusted away. This car's complete. And I know pieces of trim and bits are hard to source on the AX GT, but everything is here. So every time I look into the torch, it feels like I am an extra from Blair Witch Project. So I'm going to go around the back of the car, and I'm actually going to tell my son what I'm doing before I do it. So I'm going to go around the back, just do a kind of sort of a scan across the car. I'm trying to think if it's worth showing what's on the roof. That is the original bumper. We've got bits. There we go. Original dealer number plate. Upside down. So if you're watching this in Australia, oh, there's water now in the, oh God, there's water in the bumper, which is now going into the car like a tap. Ah, joy. Just as well we don't class these videos as professional. Oh, look at that. See, most channels would edit that out because it makes them look idiotic, but we're not pretending we're anything but idiotic. Oh, God. That went well. And that's the kind of rubbish you expect from this channel. No, I didn't. Would never swear in front of my children. That's true, actually. What's that? Well, that's a bonus. The sunroof drainage channels are working. Look at that. That's one job we haven't got to do. Amazing. That is amazing. And actually, we could bottle that and class that as Evian spring water. Actually, I think we should. Yeah? Eau de Citroën. Brilliant. So, something just fell down there. So every single panel, there's the sunroof in its pouch. Sounds a bit like a kangaroo, doesn't it? In its pouch. There's bits of trim down there. There's going to be bits missing. There's going to be bits of fasteners, and there's going to be bits that we're going to need to source on. But I've been waffling on for 17 minutes, and I said to you it should be a very quick video of here's the AX GT barn find, in air quotes. So we were talking about this earlier, weren't we? We've got to get on with this. And there are other mouths to feed, although the Proton no longer has to be fed. That's departed. We're thinking about how we could get this to work. I mean, you said maybe we could crowdfund it. Maybe we could get people to donate money. Something just fell off. All the fun of the fair. At the fairground attraction. Was that it? Perfect. Was that their song, Fairground Attraction? I didn't like that song. I still don't like it. That's something to do with that. Anyway, we could crowdfund getting some box of tissues so my son stops sniffing. That could work. But we could crowdfund this. We could make this a community AX GT. We could create some stickers. So I support the petrol blog AX GT. We could. What did you say about the stripe? You said we could.
Everybody's name that donates gets the stripe is replaced by people's names.
That's really cool. I really like that. So I don't know if you heard my son. He's quite quiet. I hope that you did hear that. Let's face it. But basically, what he's saying is, down the red stripe down the side, we replace that with all the names of the people that donated to the cause. And I think that's a really nice idea, if it's done tastefully.
Yeah.
Problem is, if you get 2 million, let's say, people donating to the cause, we'd have... Can we not aim high? If we could have 2 million names on this car, it would just be a complete wrap of people's names. But why not? If the car's back on the road again, we can make that look tasteful. He says not. But I think it's a really nice idea. So all along the side of the car here, we'd have the names of the people who made this AX GT live again, whole again as... Was that Atomic Kitten? Yeah. So that's an idea. The other thing we could do is do a big community reveal at the end. We could say, let the AX GT and do a big launch event and say, you help this happen. You help make this happen. So it's a wild dream. You know, I'm only a very small, well, I say it's we now. My son is very much invested in this channel as well. He doesn't invest anything, he just sniffs, but he'll bring chocolates, I'm sure. But, you know, is there any appetite for that? It's a wild suggestion, but would people want to back the AX GT as a community project? We could take it to a track day at Castle Combe. People could have drives in it. People could donate money and they could have tiers. So like a top tier gets a drive in the AX GT at the end of it. The bottom tier just gets you a sticker and a smug feeling of happiness that you've donated to this cause. We're digressing. Well, I'm digressing. But my son, it's a really nice idea. Anyway, that's it. So at the moment it's in its just stepped out of the barn find state. What do you want to see from this? What do you want to see from the AX GT sub-channel? You tell us. Can you also tell us how to remove a starter motor from a Mercedes 123? And can you also help my son remove an alternator from the Range Rover? What's happened to it?
This won't come out.
This won't come out.
Loosening the bolt. No, loosening the belt.
Oh yeah, we've got to release the belt. So basically, he got the alternator released, but can't get the bolt. Doesn't know what to do next in terms of getting the belt loose. Kenny Smith, you're the kind of man that can help with this. Kenny Smith, we're reaching out to you right now. Feels like one of those religious leaders in America. I truly believe that Kenny Smith, you can help me. Donate now. Donate. The Jesus, he loves you. I'm going to upset lots of people by doing that. I'm basically being banned from YouTube now. There'll be lots of Americans now going to hate me. I feel really bad. Anyway, so we better finish on the AX GT. This is it, and like I say, bit embarrassed in this position, but that's life. It will live again, with our help, and your help too. Thank you for watching. Stay safe.